disappear into a magical doorway within the rock face here at the Giant's Causeway. But absolutely no trace, it has to be said, of any doorway or hinges or anything like that.
Imagine a solid stone door swinging open along a rugged Irish coastline, an impossible sight few humans had ever seen. For centuries, this basalt wall at the Giant's Causeway stood untouched, until finally it moved, revealing a hidden space concealed for millions of years. What lay beyond defied logic and challenged everything we thought we knew about natural rock formations. A lone archaeologist's relentless pursuit pierced the unyielding stone, sending a camera into the darkness beyond. And what came back shocked everyone. What secrets lurked inside that ancient chamber? And why has this stone door remained shut for so long? Witnessing the impossible movement. The Giant's Causeway has long been admired for its unique basalt columns, a natural wonder shaped by volcanic lava flows millions of years ago. But what stunned those who visited recently was not just the rock itself, it was a slab of basalt moving like a door. Tourists and National Trust rangers alike reported seeing this solid section swing open silently, then close again with no cracks, no debris, and no sign it had shifted at all. To anyone who understands basalt, the idea that such a heavy, dense rock could behave like a hinged door defies all geological logic. Basalt forms when molten lava cools rapidly, cracking into polygonal columns that fit tightly together like a massive stone puzzle. These fractures, though sometimes visually sharp, are microscopic and messy down close, always leaving traces of dust, chips, or damage when disrupted. Yet, the witnessed stone moved smoothly, leaving behind no powder, no stress marks, or any of the expected evidence of motion. These observations transformed what could have been dismissed as a trick of light or a hoax into a deeply perplexing mystery. The location only deepened the intrigue. This stretch of coastline is famously tied to the legend of Finn McCool, the giant who supposedly built these formations during a feud centuries ago. The idea of a moving stone doorway fits perfectly into this folklore, captivating imaginations and sparking countless debates. Though the stories were poetic, scientific skepticism remained firm, because basalt is celebrated precisely for its durability and predictable fracturing over time, not for swinging open on hinges. Many who first encountered clips of the phenomenon quickly dismissed them as clever edits or illusions. Basalt's natural behavior is well documented. It does not open or slide. It fractures and crumbles over millennia. Yet, when multiple independent eyewitnesses corroborated the event, the story demanded a closer look. What could cause this impossibility? Was it natural, man-made, or something entirely unknown? The questions swirled, but answers remained out of reach. Amid a sea of doubt and disbelief, one crucial factor stood out: the stone slab's flawless movement against everything known about basalt geology. There was no sign of collapse or weathering that would suggest spontaneous shifting. This absence of physical evidence for damage or erosion lent a haunting mystery to the tale, implying something intentionally designed or otherwise extraordinary. No one yet had an explanation that could stand rigorous scientific scrutiny. The silence after the stone's motion, no cracking sounds or disturbance noted by witnesses, reinforced the enigma. The flawless closure suggested either an ancient mechanism or a natural occurrence that transcended current geological understanding. No other rock formation anywhere on Earth exhibits anything remotely similar. It posed a deep paradox. How could a living coastline made of fractured volcanic stone hide a moving door without leaving its trace? Thus, the stage was set for investigation. The mystery gripped the imagination of scientists and skeptics alike. Most ignored it as fantasy, but a careful few realized the extraordinary implications if even part of the story proved true. That slow, silent motion hinted at a secret beneath the basalt, one waiting patiently for the right moment or the right person to uncover it. What would it mean if the rock moved not by accident, but by design? The answer lay hidden just beneath that solid stone face, awaiting discovery. The reluctant archaeologist's pursuit. Among the many who heard the story, Kiran Orla stood apart. Years earlier, he had been immersed in earth sciences, specializing in field archaeology, structural analysis, and subsurface surveys throughout Ireland. His approach was measured and meticulous. Everything needed proof and data before acceptance. He wasn't prone to chasing fringe theories or indulging in speculation. When Orla first saw the shaky, low-resolution footage, he did not see a trick. He saw a puzzle demanding serious inquiry. Orla's training led him to focus not on the spectacle of the stone's movement, but on the exact line where the basalt slab separated from the rest of the formation. To him, the details of the fracture edges held the most critical clues. He knew enough about how basalt forms to recognize that the fractures should be messy, uneven, and always accompanied by micro cracks and dust. But the images showed a clean, perfect separation with no signs of damage, something unnatural in volcanic rock. To understand why this rocked his scientific certainty, one must grasp basalt's formation process. As molten lava cools rapidly, it contracts and fractures along stress lines, producing irregular, polygonal columns tightly packed together. These fractures are always rough and imperfect at microscopic levels, meaning any movement inevitably leaves a trace. A smooth, silent, repeatable motion, without trace, defies everything geology explains about basalt mechanics. Determined to move beyond theory, Orla's curiosity overcame his caution. He decided to examine the rock face physically, searching for a way in, not by brute force at the visible stone door itself, which was too thick and unforgiving, but by seeking a nearby weak point. This choice reflected his careful, scientific mindset. Avoid unnecessary risk, gather data from subtle clues, and work methodically. Without modern scanning tools, Orla relied on his hands and his eye trained over years to read grain orientation, stress lines, and thermal flow histories in the rock. He examined shifts in texture and color under shifting light, narrowing in on a point near the moving slab where the basalt might be thinner or less compact. This decision showed not just his expertise, but also his seriousness. He wasn't chasing a myth, he was hunting a hidden reality. He approached the site quietly, aware that the moving stone and its secret had gone unnoticed by official institutions or even most locals. Although the door had been seen to move, no formal records or investigations existed. Orla's lone mission was to uncover the truth regardless of what it might reveal. Armed with professional-grade drilling equipment and a cautious but determined spirit, his approach balanced risk and precision. In this environment, forcing a hole through thick basalt could have caused collapse or fatal injury. Instead, he prioritized a narrow borehole with minimal surface disturbance to reduce the danger and avoid detection. His goal was not to blast through, but to pierce discreetly and send a camera inside. What began as an investigation spurred by disbelief soon became a quest, driven by a scientist's resolve to confront the impossible. Orla's journey from skepticism to action marked the turning point in uncovering one of nature's strangest secrets. Breaking through solid basalt. The drilling process started predictably. The dense basalt resisted the rotary hammer as expected, producing a flat, grinding vibration around the narrow 25-millimeter bit. Black dust gathered steadily, normal particulate matter for volcanic rock under stress. Orla worked carefully, applying steady pressure and adjusting angles to ease the bit deeper without overheating. For minutes, nothing unusual occurred. The rock remained solid, unyielding, and unchanged. Then, abruptly, everything shifted. Without warning, the resistance vanished. The heavy grind became hollow, and the drill lurched forward several centimeters before Orla could stop it. For the first time, the bit entered a void, an open chamber behind the thick stone wall. This moment was both thrilling and disorienting. The transition from unbreakable rock to empty space suggested something extraordinary, concealed behind what was supposed to be solid volcanic stone. Orla paused, hands gripping the drill, breathing steady but alert. He felt the silence around him, unbroken by airflow or echoes from the cavity. Natural sea caves and fissures always have some air movement or sound, but here, nothing stirred. No pressure changes, no whispers of wind. This sealed stillness indicated the space had remained closed off for centuries, possibly much longer. He carefully widened the tiny opening just enough to send a small, tracked crawler armed with a camera into the unknown. This cautious act bridged the gap between human curiosity and the hidden chamber, allowing exploration without risking bodily harm or destabilizing the rock face. As the machine crossed into the darkness, Orla's careful planning turned into raw anticipation. The initial footage showed ordinary basalt walls inside the chamber, but subtle oddities soon appeared. The floor was unnaturally flat and smooth, unlike the broken rubble outside. Suspended forms hung silently in the air, flickering slightly, though nothing could be moving them. Strange reflections and moisture patterns broke the camera's clarity, revealing a space both familiar and disturbingly altered. What Orla had uncovered was no natural hollow carved by geological forces alone. The perfectly closed door led to a deliberate, structured space, deep and hidden, with features defying basalt's known behavior. This breakthrough marked the beginning of a deeper mystery, as the chamber's secrets extended far beyond its simple entrance. The glimpse behind this extraordinary stone door challenged not only geology, but also what we imagine as possible beneath Earth's surface, setting the stage for questions no one knew how to answer. The chamber's existence demanded more investigation, but at a cost that would weigh heavily on those who dared to look inside. As the exploration began, everything known about this quiet Irish coastline shifted, revealing that some doors are meant to remain closed, or opened only by the most patient and cautious hands. First glimpses inside the hidden chamber. As the small crawler ventured deeper into the hidden chamber, it revealed a space unlike anything expected beneath solid basalt. The floor beneath it was unnaturally smooth and level, a stark contrast to the rough, broken rock outside the entry point. This flatness suggested that the area had been deliberately altered or maintained, not formed by natural forces alone. Such a pristine surface inside what should have been a natural cavity raised immediate questions about the chamber's origin and purpose. Suspended in the dim light of the crawler's lamps were vague shapes hanging from above, clustered in loose groups. These forms resisted clear focus, flickering and shifting slightly as though they could not quite remain still. What troubled Orla most was that nothing in such a sealed, airless space should have moved at all. The subtle motion defied all natural explanations and suggested either some unknown physical process or something less tangible holding sway. Around these shapes, shallow pools of a dark liquid stained the floor, fracturing and scattering the crawler's light in erratic patterns. This liquid did not behave like ordinary water. It rippled gently, without a current or source feeding it. Its near-black color and inconsistent reflections implied unusual chemical or physical properties. The slow movement of liquid in a chamber sealed from air was as mysterious as the suspended forms themselves. The crawler's progress revealed a faint haze in the air, making the space feel alive in its inertness. Moisture suspended in tension diffused the light and blurred the edges of objects, leaving no solid boundary between floor and walls. This atmosphere added a layer of eerie uncertainty, as if the chamber were in constant, slow flux despite being hidden and closed for who knows how long. Every few feet, the camera caught glimpses of the hanging shapes reappearing, but never in the exact same place. Their barely perceptible shifts against fixed rock made it impossible to dismiss the phenomenon as mere illusion or camera trickery. A man trained to read stone who had spent years employed to predict rock behavior, now faced something that broke every rule he knew. Orla retraced the crawler's path to capture a different angle, hoping a secondary viewpoint would explain away these oddities. Instead, the shapes remained ambiguous and dynamic, deepening the mystery. There was no natural process capable of suspending and subtly moving such forms without airflow or visible support, especially in total darkness. Inside this dark, sealed chamber, even the air seemed hostile. The hovering moisture created interference that gradually worsened as the crawler advanced, further obscuring vision and sense of depth. The scene was as alien as it was eerily quiet, a place that appeared frozen, yet fluid at the same time. In these first revealed moments, the chamber transcended ordinary geology. It felt engineered or somehow alive, a stark contradiction to the timeless volcanic rock concealing it. These early glimpses set the stage for deeper secrets just beyond the camera's fading light. Unnatural structures and mysterious phenomena. The crawler's camera tilted upward to reveal a startling discovery overhead. Linear structures embedded in the ceiling, cutting straight across the natural basalt flow. These were not random cracks or mineral veins, but evenly spaced horizontal beams integrated into the rock itself. Their measured placement suggested deliberate construction far beyond natural volcanic processes. Basalt's cooling fractures create ordered columns, but only through natural stress patterns that produce irregular and jagged geometry. The straight, recurring lines of these ceiling beams contrasted sharply with the organic fracturing elsewhere. This precise linearity implied some form of intent or engineering unknown in natural basalt formation. What made the scene even more unsettling was the way these beams aligned exactly with the hanging forms below, as if they supported or connected to them. This implied a structural relationship linking ceiling and suspended objects, strengthening the sense that the chamber was a designed environment, not a random cave. Adding to the mystery, the camera intermittently recorded flares of light appearing briefly ahead. These flashes were subtle but consistent across multiple frames, far too bright and focused to be explained by reflections or camera glitches. No source was visible, and the light vanished instantly after appearing, as though switched on and off by an unseen presence. Light requires energy, and the chamber's sealed, dark environment lacked any obvious power source or mechanical devices. This raised profound questions. What could generate such light without electrical supply? Was this a natural bioluminescence, an unknown mineral phenomenon, or something more enigmatic? As the crawler pressed deeper, the ground grew softer and more treacherous. The dark liquid pools thickened, reducing traction, and the camera signal flickered wildly. This resistance suggested the chamber itself was not passive. It seemed to actively hinder exploration, as if protecting its secrets. Static and interference intermittently scrambled the image, increasing in intensity toward the chamber's unknown depths. This electronic disturbance felt almost like a barrier, technological or otherwise, intensifying the sense of an unseen force safeguarding the space beyond. Together, these unnatural structures, inexplicable light, and physical interference painted a picture of a hidden world layered with complexity. The chamber behind the moving basalt door was more than a geological oddity. It was a deliberate, enigmatic space, defying easy explanation, waiting for those willing to face its mysteries. The clues hinted at a deeper reality that challenged not only science, but the limits of human understanding. The door's secret and unanswered questions. What Kiran Orla uncovered behind the ancient basalt door challenges everything we understand about natural rock formations. This was not a natural cave or a hollow carved by geological forces over millennia. Instead, it was a carefully structured space, deliberately concealed within solid volcanic stone. The presence of integrated ceiling beams and suspended shapes points to an intentional design. something built rather than formed by nature's hand. Orla's decision to reseal the opening speaks volumes about the nature of the discovery. It was clear that what lay beyond the stone door was fragile, enigmatic, and perhaps dangerous, at least in terms of what humanity can safely comprehend or disturb. His clean, unobtrusive closure left no evidence that the chamber had ever been accessed, maintaining the mystery for future explorers or protectors of the site. Despite the profound implications of his findings, there is no official record, no academic publication, nor institutional acknowledgement of this hidden chamber. The only account comes from Orla himself, whose meticulous documentation balances careful description with justified caution. He hedges on many details, the exact shapes, distances, and light behaviors, yet never once described the space as natural or ordinary. The footage captured cannot reveal all the secrets inside. The camera's lens distorts, moisture interferes, and the shifting nature of light and reflections hide far more than they show. Even so, what Orla and others who have seen the images agree on is that there was an unmistakable presence inside, a presence not meant to be understood fully or explained away with current science. This hidden chamber lies beside the massive basalt slab that so many witnessed swinging open and closed, meaning that whatever created the door also commands the space beyond it. If this passage is only part of a larger system, it hints at a far greater hidden world concealed within the volcanic rock along the Irish coastline, a world waiting silently in the dark, unknown to every visitor who marvels at the surface. The questions this discovery raises are as profound as the answers remain elusive. Was this structure created by an ancient civilization, or is it a geological anomaly shaped by forces we have yet to understand? What or who is behind the light flares? And why has this secret remained so well hidden for untold centuries? Until these questions find answers, the stone door will remain a sentinel, a guardian that opens only when the time and perhaps humanity are ready. Until then, it stands as a profound reminder that beneath even the most familiar landscapes, mysteries wait patiently, reshaping our understanding of nature, history, and the unknown. Ireland's moving stone door reveals how the Earth can harbor secrets far beyond our imagination. A hidden chamber, deliberately concealed and filled with mysteries that challenge science and legend alike, waits quietly behind a door no one expected to open. If this tale surprised you, please like and subscribe for more stories that push the boundaries of what we know and what remains to be discovered. Your support helps keep the adventure alive.